to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today we're going to talk about Phil Adams, and what direction he's going to take the company in. Let me tell you, based on his resume, I see that he is more than qualified for the position of CEO of this company. And I was watching him speak in the Retro Bros podcast there, and a lot of things that he mentioned went by unnoticed. And they were very, very deep, some of them, from a business perspective. And that's what we do here. We talk about video game companies and video games from the business perspective. And he said some very, very deep things that told me that he knows the situation of the company. Let me tell you this. For me personally, when I want to know about a company, I don't listen to anybody. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to YouTubers, because there's only one thing that really matters to the health of the company, and those are the balance sheets, which we have here. I don't care what, and I mean what, your opinion is of the company. This right here tells you the finances. Look how much the assets jumped, almost 3 times. But look how much the liabilities jumped. Look at the long-term liabilities, right? You can say whatever you want. You can be as positive as you want about this company, but the numbers don't lie, right? Speaking about the future of this company without acknowledging these figures is not something I can do, right? It's not something I can do. And I'm the kind of person that is going to tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. I like reality. I don't like fantasy. As excited as I am for them to release video games as NFTs, I'm not going to lie to myself and pretend that these figures aren't real. They put these figures out there. You know how difficult that must have been? Because these figures right here confirm many of the criticisms that have been laid against the company. The CEO really is the driver of the company. He's going to decide the direction of where the company's going. And in order to determine, what that future might be of whatever company you're looking at, you need to know what the CEO is thinking. Now, Phil Adams was on Retro Bros podcast, right? And he spoke for a few minutes. And a lot of people missed a lot of things at what he said. And they didn't miss everything, They didn't miss the fact where he said, I'm not going to put shit out there just to put shit out there, right? And a lot of people took that maybe as a shot at the previous administration. I don't think that just because I believe they're friends, I think it's more of a reflection of knowing what the company's reputation is up to this point. Look, I wrote this many notes. I thought that he had these many solid points that he made regarding his feelings about the company and the company's status at the moment. He started off by saying that, not everybody is good at, writing business reports, things like that, and what can we infer from that? We know that they've had challenges with paperwork, and forgive me if I read these notes, but I really want to highlight all these points. That they've having problems just doing menial paperwork things. Okay, people find conspiracy excuses for why they didn't file this or they didn't do that. It could be right. It still doesn't look good. It doesn't look professional. When you're seeking funding, when you're seeking capital, this is not high school. That's even more worrisome. If the reason you didn't make certain filings is so, Pat Ian or Darius Struxon wouldn't find out that there was a change in the company, that's absolutely insane. That's not a reason why you should fail to meet your commitments, okay? So the fact that he said this, I think, has to do more with the culture of the company and how he wants to change it, all right? And he said, pretty much let him focus on what he's great at, right? If you really read into that, he's saying he's great at that. He's not great at this, right? And that is his strength, right? he talked about the cost of goods, and a very direct question that Retro Bro asked. And a lot of times, guys, I know everybody loves to be critical, especially in these kind of podcasts, because they seem to be just raw podcasts. Sometimes maybe they don't ask all the questions that you want, but if you listen to the responses and you read between the lines, you could see a lot of what is this man's direction when he asked how many pre-orders will be shipped. And he said, I could make up shit, I just don't believe in doing that, right? So he's clearly drawing a line in the sand, saying that was the past, this is now. With me, you're gonna get it straight. If I don't know, I'm not gonna tell you shit, but I'm not gonna give you an answer that you wanna hear just so you have an answer, which is a great thing, right? By the way, this idea, even though a lot of fans like this, business-wise, having company officers appear on YouTube, on podcasts, and things like that, is a fucking horrible idea. It's absolutely atrocious. It's okay to say hi and bye and whatever. That's what marketing guys are for. That's what your salespeople are for. So they can put their foot in their mouth, and you can come back and say, well, he was mistaken. What he meant to say, what he should have said, right? And if you listen to the show, and you've listened to the show previously, I pointed out that one of the previous CEO's faults when he made a lot of claims earlier is he didn't use the 3 magic words. And I'm not saying that, by the way, that Phil listened to that show and he used them because of that. I just think that he's a veteran of the industry and he knows, right? And he used our goal is, our goal, it's our goal. That buys you time and time again, peace of mind. Because a goal is just a goal. You can fail at a goal and that's okay. You can say you were trying, rather than make statements of fact when you don't really have whatever you're saying you have, or maybe you're pretty sure that you have it, but you really don't. So it's always wise to use these kind of words. Right here, what this is telling you, this gentleman has experience in this type of role. He's not going to make those mistakes. He's been through the battlefields already, right? And he said, our goal is to, right? Absolutely right. That's the way he should answer any questions of that type, whether it's from people that like him, don't like him, it doesn't matter. A CEO has to be very guarded in what he says because his words matter. Not only in this company, in any company. Unfortunately, the previous administration learned that the hard way, especially now in the YouTube days. When you say something, it stays there. And if you make, those kind of absolute claims, customers expect absolute results. And that has caused this company a lot of pain. Another very powerful statement he made. He said, none of us have put everything on the line and to do things half-assed. That is a powerful, powerful statement and an indictment on the what really is a failure of the previous administration. Again, guys, I'm not pointing this out so you guys can get triggered out there. Okay, this is not a personal attack. These are the numbers. These are the numbers, right? In when your payroll went up 10 times, or just about, you produced nothing. You spent money without results. That's half-assed. He knows the state of the company. He knows right now it's half-assed. He doesn't want to leave it like this. That's not his first choice. He may have said this in a soft tone, but these are cutting, deep words that have more meaning than people noticed at the time, right? If you listen to those words, he knows exactly the kind of trouble he's in. He is under no delusions that this company is doing great. And I have to say this, I I noticed Phil, back in the day when everybody was pumping this console. Execs were out there, the fans were out there, and this is going to happen and that is going to happen. And he's the sole only dissenting voice that I heard from in television saying we should start off smaller. He was the only one. He was right. He was proven absolutely right. Once again, this shows that this man has experience. And then he says, Dave and Phil took this to the board, or Tommy and somebody else took this to the board, yada, yada, yada. For those of you who are confused, let me explain to you that it doesn't matter if you're a majority owner in the company. In this case, I believe, the majority owners own like 28%. If there's a board, and depending how the contracts were written when the company was formed, you can be removed. You also have personal liabilities. If things are going south, or you're not able to perform your duties, you can be removed, even if you started the company. So this, these stories of the people are just saying because they, how can this happen or how can that happen? Happens all the time. It happened to Steve Jobs. It's happened to many men that started companies. Okay, so that's not uncommon in the industry. So let me keep on going here because I really want to get to everything. And this is that he was picked for a reason. And he said, I did the business deals, right? And those, like it or not, he did, bring in the licenses. He said it was taking up too much of Tommy's time, right? And he also said that this was bigger than one person. That right there, I really keyed in because I've used that before myself, right? When I have an employee that's struggling, right? And I don't want to fire them, but I can clearly see that they're in over their head. I say, you know what? I forgot, or I forgot this was coming up, and when I see these two things combining, I think this is bigger than one person, so let me help you doing this, let me get somebody else to help you, yada, yada, yada. But it's a very common phrase. When you're in over your head, or you see somebody that's in over their head, you use that line basically to signal that there's going to be a change, right? And not telling the person or publicly saying, hey, you know what, you're not cutting the mustard. Am I saying that, they had that kind of confrontation? No. But this is a common business practice. To you Gen Xers out there, you guys know this. In business, we say a lot of stuff that has double meanings, but we know exactly what it means, right? Let me get on here. He also said something very, very important. He said, we have to refocus, right? And if there's one criticism, not only that I've made, but a lot of people made, is that companies all over the place. We have this going on, we have that going on. We're talking about this, we're talking about that, we're talking about the other. And they get away from a principle of business that is tried and true for centuries now. Do one thing, do it well, and then, only then, move on to the next. Can you say that about the structure of the company now? You can't, okay? You can't. I've been talking about the culture of this company for a long time. Phil here recognizes it. He recognizes it. He recognizes that that they are not meeting their commitments. He recognizes that people are not reaching their goals for whatever reason, right? And whenever you step into a when you're a manager, you call this a target-rich environment because there's so many things to shoot at, right? When I'm about to let somebody go or make a change of worth, I'll say, I'm here to be a tool. in your success. But I'm really there to be a tool, because a lot of people are getting fired, right? When I go in a quality situation where I see people are slacking, they're not doing their job, they're not meeting expectations, you have to make a change, right? It's just numbers, right? If there's a department that's underperforming by 20%, I have exactly 90 days to fix that, or the one, or somebody's gonna be behind me talking to me about, hey dude, I'm the tool. You know what I'm saying? You have to fix those things. You really do. And he said that several times. I'm gonna be the tool to help facilitate this, facilitate that. What that really means is he's gonna be there whipping, making sure, because that's the job of the CEO. If you're an investor that put in $28,000, does it matter to you if the person that lost your money or is not giving you your 10x returns, does it matter if he's nice or not nice? Especially the supporters, you forget about this. This was promised to people. This was promised to people. Phil knows this, and he knows, right? He knows that is a huge failure on the company, because he goes and says this: we need to create a sustainable business so we can attract more investors. What does that tell you? What does that tell you right there? Right? Think about it. He's telling you, number one, that the business as is not sustainable. It's not. It doesn't matter how many podcasts you make and how many times you talk about the trailers. It doesn't change that fact. The CEO is telling you right now, it's not a sustainable business. That's not being negative. That's a fact. If you don't accept the facts, you're not going to be able to improve. He needs to create a sustainable business so he can attract more investors, because investors are going to see what I'm seeing: a shitload of debt producing nothing with a high payroll. He needs to cut the fat, and he needs to make this company more productive. He exactly knows what he's facing. He's looking at a lot of the things that, any business person would look at. He's looking at things that I pointed out to you in the past that have been, taken as insults. It's not an insult. If the CEO is telling you it's not sustainable, it's not sustainable. He needs to fix it. That's his job. He has an incredible mountain to climb. Now, by the things that he said, he gives me confidence that he knows what he's doing. I'm not a person who believes in telling you what you want to hear so I can belong to a club, and we can be rah-rah because we have the same opinion. You don't, right? In several ways. Does he have to raise prices? Yes, he has absolutely no choice with what he's inheriting, which, if you took the time to read these documents, if you took the time to read those balances, there is no way you could feel great about the situation in the company. Now, can you be hopeful for the future? Of course you can. But you can't, I can't sit here and close my eyes and start talking about, I love Cloudy Mountain, when the numbers are showing me that's not even a remote possibility at the moment, because we're $8 million fucking dollars in the hole. That is what Phil is looking at right now.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.